So Herakl, the king, Caesar, is also inspired by the awe of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Hafiz ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayhi has said that this attribute was given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to such an extent that if he was alone in an army, that would be enough to inspire and strike awe into the opposition. Look at the time of Hunayn, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was with that army, and the tribe of Hawazin made a sudden attack, and those who were in the front rows, they were taken aback by those arrows showering from all sides and the enemy advancing from the front, that they left the ground and turned back. And Rasulullah was alone, with him only a group of 100 people. And then he kept on moving, and he was saying, Ana Nabiyyu la karib, Ana ibn Abdul Muttalib. To the extent that at one time he only had Abu Sufyan ibn Haris and Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib by his side, nobody else with him. And he was still moving forward. And he took some soil and he said, Shahatil wujuh, qabuhatil wujuh. May these faces be made ugly. In that manner, he just threw that soil or that sand, and it went into the eyes of the people. And from that moment, they were taken aback. And the Muslim army then moved on, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave victory. So this is the awe-inspired inspiration and awe given to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is the second attribute which he mentioned. وَنُصِرْتُ بِالرُّعْبِ مَسِيرَةَ شَهْرٍ. Even at this time, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is not present with us. But we see around that people, alhamdulillah, love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And because of that love, the other people are scared to do something bad or say something bad about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's that inspiration and that awe which Allah gave him 1400 years ago. It's still present till today. Moving on, Rasulullah said, وَأُحِلَّتْ لِيَ الْغَنَائِمِ. The war booty was made lawful for me. Meaning, for the previous prophets, it was not allowed. They had to burn it away. Whatever they gained from the war booty, they would have to gather it all together. Fire would come from the sky and burn it out. And that would be a sign that their struggle was accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many a times it so happened that someone had cheated and stole from the war booty. And the Prophet would gather the wealth or gather the booty, war booty, but the fire would not come. And then he would pray, and then they would find the culprit and put what he had concealed and hidden and stolen in that pile of the war booty, and then the fire would come and eat it up and burn it. And that would be a sign that the jihad and struggle was accepted. So Rasulullah said this was the case with the previous prophets, but with me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, غَنَائِمْ are halal for you. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَنْفَالِ قُلِ الْأَنْفَالُ لِلَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَصْلِحُوا ذَاتَ بَيْنِكُمْ وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ in Surah Al-Anfal. Then after a few verses, Allah goes on to say, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَأَنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمُسَهُ وَلِلرَّسُولِ وَلِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ إِن كُنتُمْ آمَنتُم بِاللَّهِ وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا يَوْمَ الْفُرْقَانِ يَوْمَ الْتَقَى الْجَمْعَانِ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. So this is the second thing, that war booty was made halal for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Third thing. And then he moves on to say, وَجُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. The earth was made a masjid and a source of purification for me. Meaning, for the previous prophets and their nations, when they wanted to say their prayers, they would have to go to their places of worship, whether synagogue or church. They would not be allowed to pray in their homes or any other place. But for me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the whole earth masjid for me. And He said, فَأَيُّمَا رَجُلٍ مِّنْ أُمَّتِي أَدْرَكَتْهُ الصَّلَاةِ فَلْيُصَلِّ. Wherever he is, when the time of salat comes, he should pray. Whether he's on a journey, on the services, on the airport, on the bus station, he can pray wherever he is. He can pray inside his home as well. So his salat will be accepted. And tahur, meaning if you can't do wudu, then you can do tayammum. So the earth, the soil of the earth has been made a source of purification for me. When you can't find water, you can do tayammum. This was not allowed for the previous nations. And then he moved on to say, وَأُرْسِلْتُ إِلَى الْخَلْقِ كَافَّةً. And I was sent to the creation as a whole. The whole creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to the whole universe. He was a universal prophet. He was not regional. He was not for any nation or any region or any area. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا كَافَّةً لِلنَّاسِ بَشِيرًا وَنَذِيرًا وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. We have not sent you but as a messenger to the whole of mankind, a giver of good news and a warner. However, most people do not understand, do not know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent you but as a mercy for the whole universe. So Rasulullah said over here, كَانَ النَّبِيُّ يُبْعَثُ إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ خَاصَّةً وَأُرْسِلْتُ إِلَى الْخَلْقِ كَافَّةً. In another place he said, وَبُعِثْتُ إِلَىٰ كُلِّ أَسْوَدَ وَأَحْمَرَ. I have been sent to every black and red person. The whole universe is the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, mankind and jinn as well. In some places it is narrated whether he was a Rasul and messenger to the Malaika as well or not. And some ulama have noted, Suyuti has mentioned, that he was a Rasul for the Malaika as well. Once Jibreel alayhi salam was talking to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and Rasulullah said to Jibreel alayhi salam that, "O Jibreel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me the attribute of Rahmatul lil Alameen. So did you benefit from me, from my prophethood, from my messengership?" And he said, "Yes, O Muhammad, of course I benefited. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Quran down upon you, He chose me to bring it down. And in that Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ ذِي قُوَّةٍ عِنْدَ ذِي الْعَرْشِ مَكِينٍ مُطَاعٍ ثَمَّ أَمِينٍ. These are the virtues, attributes of Jibreel alayhi salam. So when I read those verses in the Quran, Alhamdulillah, I was satisfied and I was convinced that inshallah I will gain salvation on the day of Qiyamah. Otherwise, up to that point, I was really scared that something might happen to me like it happened to others. Like Iblis, he used to claim to be an angel, and he worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for so many thousands of years. There was not a spot on the earth or in the sky where he did not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, did not do sajda. But when the time came, his haughtiness and pride and arrogance, stubbornness appeared, which was hidden in the heart. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala threw him out from Jannah. So Jibreel said, I was scared that something might happen to me. But when the Quran came down upon you, I was relieved that inshallah my khatima will be with khair as well. Allah is pleased with me as well. So your rahmatul lil alameen and was beneficial for me as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to the whole universe. And he said, وَخُتِمَ بِيَ النَّبِيُّونَ. And prophets were finished upon me. There will be no prophet, no new prophet to come after me. No new prophet will be born after me. وَخُتِمَ بِيَ النَّبِيُّونَ. This is the sixth attribute which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned in this hadith. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ahzab, 22nd chapter, 2nd ruku', مَا كَانَ مُحَمَّدٌ أَبَا أَحَدٍ مِّن رِجَالِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَخَاتَمَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمًا. Muhammad is not the father of any of your menfolk. However, he is Rasulullah and he is Khatamun Nabiyyin. And Allah has full knowledge of everything. So this proves the finality of the prophethood of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he mentioned here, وَخُتِمَ بِيَ النَّبِيُّونَ. There will be many other special qualities of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam which we will go through.